Hey guys, welcome back. This is History of Power Rangers, Season 1, Episode 6 of my show, but this is about Episode 5. And Episode 5 in the original Power Rangers series is known as, different drum. But before I actually start talking about this episode, I just want to mention something. Sorry, I've had a bit of a bad cough the past couple of days, so if you hear those coughs in the video, I apologize. This video is actually, it's going to be the very first video for the month of March, so as a little bit of a request for you guys, since this is the first video of the new month, I was going to ask you guys if you could just give this video the best you guys can and stuff. And also, the reason why I mentioned that is because 2 weekends from now, on the 24th of March, the new Power Ranger movie comes out. So, I'm definitely, if I get that movie on DVD, since it's going to be based off the original series, like, it's going to be based off the TV show, so what I'm going to do is, I'm definitely going to do a review for that movie if I get it on DVD for you guys. I just figured. Anyway, now getting into it, this is the History of Power Rangers Season 1, Episode 6 of my show, but this is about Episode 5. Now, Episode 5 in the English dub is known as a different drum. And basically what happens is, Kimberly is teaching this sort of dance class thing at the juice bar, and then Billy tries to do the dancing as well, and then he makes a bit of a fool out of himself, and then it goes to where Jason and Zach and Trini are, and they pick Billy up off the ground, and then Zach asks Billy what's wrong. I think it's Trini that asks Billy what's wrong, and he says that he's intrigued by the sound of the music, but he's unable to do the bodily gyrations for the dance routine. Oh my god. So basically in English he's saying that he can't dance. Oh, I'm sorry, but that's kind of hilarious. Oh. Anyway, then Rita's up in her palace, and she said that, I just hate that stupid music, and then she says that that's it, she'll get rid of the Power Rangers using music. And, basically, I'm gonna backtrack. I was getting ahead when I did that thing with Billy. I'm just going to backtrack. I was on track when I did the thing with Rita, but I'm just going to backtrack here for a second. After he messes up that dance move thing, Kimberly basically tells him that this is not the way for him to meet girls, and then it goes into it with Rita's character, and she says what I said. She says, I just hate that insufferable music. That's it. I'm gonna get rid of the Power Rangers using music. And then it goes back into the youth center, and then Billy's getting him to sit down, and Zach asks him what's up, and as I said, he says that he's intrigued by the rhythm, but unable to do the pottery gyration in tune with the music, which basically, as I said, means he can't dance. Oh, I'm sorry, but that's kind of hilarious. Anyway, then it goes into with while Kimberly's teaching the dance class, this deaf girl, Melissa, in this series. Now, this is sort of the reason why this episode is called A Different Drum. Is technically, aside from the main Ranger characters, there are different secondary protagonist characters that are sort of influential to the series. Like, in this episode's case, the Melissa character, as I spoke of in this series, she's deaf, which means she can't hear, which comes in really handy in this episode in the case when Rita creates the monster, which is called the Gnardy Knome. But I'll explain more about the Gnardy Knome later when I get back into it with Rita. Anyway, after Melissa tries to do the dance moves and she bumps into this girl and she gets angry, and the girl gets angry at her because she thinks that Melissa almost knocked her over, and then she goes off to a different side of the juice bar, and then Kimberly says to have them take 5, which means like take a break, and she's talking with Melissa using the sign language, because you see, since deaf people can't hear in the series, like in general, people who are deaf, like they can't hear any noise with their ears, so they have to do the sign language thing. Now I'm mentioning that because at the near the end of the episode, Jason will do this funny sign language thing. Oh, I'm sorry. I just thought I'd mention the sign language since there's a funny scene that happens near the end of the episode. And then after Melissa explains using sign language to Kimberly about what happened, she said that it's her fault because she didn't sign the moves, and Melissa tells Kimberly in sign language that she says that she thinks it's her fault because she's different and such, and she says that in sign language that she's a very good dancer, and he tells her that even hearing people make mistakes, and she's pointing at Billy when she says that. Anyway, then it goes back into the scene where Rita's in the palace, and she's telling Finster to make a monster that has the ability to hypnotize people using music. And he says that that's a wonderful idea, but he also points out that musical monsters, apparently they're not really reliable. Oh my god. And then after after he tries to have her reconsider about the musical monster thing, but because he tells her that musical monsters, apparently they're not really reliable. And then basically what happens is she tells Finster to either get her monster, or it'll turn him into a civilian slug. Oh my god. Oh my god. And the monster he creates basically is called the Gnardy Knome. Now that I've mentioned about the Gnardy Knome, I'm also going to mention about his primary weapon that he uses. his primary weapon is like an accordion, like, you know those kind of things where it's a musical instrument where you bring it out and then push it back in and it makes a sound. Well, in this, I just thought I'd mention that about the accordion thing, since that's the monster's primary weapon. And apparently this primary weapon has the ability to hypnotize people. So basically what their plan is to use the Gnardy Gnome's hypnotizing accordion power to capture a couple of kids and hold them. And when the Power Rangers come to rescue the kids, Rita will be able to put the Power Rangers in her power as well. Now the reason why I mentioned that is because Melissa in this episode is a good side character, because it's because of the fact that she's deaf, which is another way of saying that someone can't hear. I'm not trying to say that to mean anything. I'm just saying that because it's mentioned in the episode, so I just thought I'd explain about it. And that actually comes in handy because she can't hear in the episode, she's not affected by the Gnardy Gnome's hypnotic accordion. And anyway, it goes back into the youth center. After the dance lesson, the girl that got mad with Melissa's character is apologizing about it, and then she's telling that her and her friends are going to go to the mall later, and she's asking Melissa if she wants to tag along, and she said that she does, using sign language. And then basically after they exit the youth center, before they get hypnotized, except for Melissa, she tells Melissa that they've got to stop at her house first, because she's got to let her mom know about what they're doing. And then they fall under the hypnotic accordion spell. And then basically, as I said, because she is deaf, which means she can't hear, she's unaffected by the gnome's ability, which means that she's immune to it. And basically what happens is, after the Gnardy Gnome uses his hypnotic accordion to bring the girls into the cave, Melissa then goes back to the youth center to try to explain to Jason and the others about what's happening, but because Jason doesn't know about how to speak sign language and Ernie doesn't, she has to write it down. Oh my god. I'm so sorry, but that's kind of hilarious because they don't understand sign language. So she has to write down what she's saying using a pencil and a piece of paper. Oh my god. I'm sorry, but that's kind of hilarious. And then she says that her friends she writes down that her friends are in danger, and then Jason says they're going to help her get her friends back and stuff, and then goes into, but before I continue with where I am, I'm just going to mention that apparently while they're holding the girls captive in the cave, they're having a little bit of a party, and the Gnardy Knome is asking Babu where the food is, and well, he says about bringing food because he grows hungry, and Babu says that the Gnardy Knome is pretty bossy, isn't he? Oh my god! And basically, it's just said that he hopes this plan works, and then Squat says that forget about the plan because he throws a good party. And then basically what happens after that is he wants the putty patrollers to dance with the girls because he wants to see a show. And then he says that the girls are dancing with putties now, but soon they'll be dancing with Power Rangers. And tomorrow they dance for their Empress Rita after he finishes off the Power Rangers. And then basically Squat says that he's so hungry he could eat a bug. And he says that's not a bad idea. So he goes into his little pouch that he carries and he picks up this little container which has a bug in it. Oh my god, that's kind of gross. I am sorry, but that is really gross. Sorry, but that is really, really gross. Anyway, then, Rita checks on her plan, and then she uses a repulsoscope to see how the plan's going, like I said, and she said that they're the hostages, but where is everyone else? Because before the Gnardy Knome starts attacking to rest up, he takes a bit of a nap. Oh my god. And then when she finds out that he's napping, she yells at them to wake them up, and then she tells them that she's going to turn them all into Octavian slime toads. Oh my god. And then it goes and then the Gnardy Knome puts on his boots, which makes him invisible. And then it goes into the scene after Jason and the others had left the youth center to try to rescue Melissa's friends. Melissa points to the cave that they're in, and then after they're in the cave, after she points to where they are in the cave, Kimberly says in sign language to have her hide over there and wait until her friends are safe, and then they morph into their ranger forms and they fight the Gnardy Knome, and then they use the power blaster, and then after that, Rita sends her magic wand down and makes the gnome grow, and then they fight the gnome in Megazord form afterward, and then after that, what happens is during their battle, the gnome uses his hypnotic accordion to sort of put the Megazord into a sort of trance. Sorry about that, guys, if you saw that. Sorry about that if you saw that in the video. The stand I have, it started leaning a bit, so I had to adjust it. So if you saw that in the video again, I apologize. Anyway, then they defeat the gnome, and then basically Rita's upset that she lost again, and then basically what happens is afterward, oh, actually, before Rita gets upset that she lost again, Melissa and her friends are wondering what happened, and then Kimberly tells them that this nasty gnome monster trapped her friends in a cave, so she went to get help, and then that's how the Power Rangers, which is them, showed up, and then they're thanking her for what she did, and then basically, like I said, Rita's upset that she lost again, and then basically then it goes back into then it goes into a scene where they're in the youth center again, and then after that, Jason makes a little bit of a funny saying using sign language about his dog smell. And then basically Melissa uses sign language to tell Billy that she wants to dance with him, and then Jason tells Zach that basically sign language isn't so hard once you get used to it, and then Zach says that it's a whole new world of rap. There's a lot they could learn from Melissa, and then Kimberly basically says that she always thought that Melissa was quiet before it, but then she saved her friends, and then it goes into a scene where Billy is, and he's doing a dance move where he's doing this spinning dance move on the floor. Then Kimberly said that Melissa's a miracle worker, and that's basically where this episode stops. So if you guys like this video on YouTube when I post it today, please give it the real best you guys can, and I'll see you guys probably tomorrow for the next video. So until tomorrow, guys, like I always tell you with this series, may the power protect you always.